Right then folks, I'll give everybody a couple of minutes to jump in. Excuse my coughing. Yeah, so this is the first of our lives on the 12 Houses of Christmas. Hi Di. Hi Dawn. Hi Margaret. I'll just give everybody a few minutes to jump in. Can everybody see and hear everything okay? Just give me a shout back to let you know that you can see and hear me. That's okay, Kim. As I say, the video will be available after, so you can always refer back to it at any point anyway. So that's not a problem. That's the good thing about these lives. We save them all, so people can jump back in whenever they've got time to carry on. Yes, thanks Margaret. Hi Saria. Hi Monique. Nice to see you here, Monique. How are you doing, my lovely? Hi Liz. Oh, people are jumping in now. As I was saying, yeah, the lives are always available to refer back to after, which is a good thing. Hi Anna, nice to see you here, lovely. How are you doing, sweetheart? So while I'm waiting for everybody to jump in, I made a bit of a boo-boo on the supplies list. So if you want to grab yourself some either white chalk paint, white gesso, white tinting base, doesn't matter, and a pencil. Hi Coral, nice to see you here, lovely. Hi Rachel. Newbie, there's no newbies in here, but thank you for popping in. It's great to see everybody here. Hi Sandra. So yeah, for those that have just jumped in, as I was saying, I made a boo-boo on the supplies list. So just grab yourself some either white chalk paint, white gesso, or a white tinting base and a pencil. Hi Karen, how you doing, my lovely? But as I say, I'll explain as I go along. There is something that I used on my original that I didn't put on the supplies list. This is totally optional. It's this little 3D folder, if you've got it. Hi Lynn, from Tim Holtz. It just gives the little star decorations. It's just an optional extra. If you want to add it on, you could add a star, any grey board stars, a paper cut star. You could add poinsettia stamped flowers, just to make it all Christmassy. But as I say, it's entirely optional. I'm going to do it tonight without this, but I just thought that people are going to ask some questions. Oh, on the picture here, it's got this star bit, and I just thought I'd pop in and say this is what I use. If you've got one and you want to use it, then that's great. But if you haven't, it doesn't matter, because as I say, I'm creating it without this tonight. But I'll show you the original, and then I've got an option of what you want to do. This is the original here. As I say, it cuts two, a big one and a small one. It die cuts and embosses at the same time. So I used the big one here, and I just slotted the two small ones in the side. But I'm creating this tonight without these, but it's entirely up to you. It's just a little bit of decoration. But as I say you could put a star in here, a grey board star, or a paper cut star, or a stamped poinsettia flower, anything Christmas. It could even be a bell, it can be anything, you know, the choice is yours. But that was that. So I'll give it a few more minutes. What time are we? 3 minutes past. I'll give it a couple of more minutes, and for other people to jump in. Hi Jan, you all right, my lovely? So as I say, this is a little optional extra. If you've got one, use it. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. It was just something that I added on as a whim. It looks just as good without, as you'll see at the end. But what, we're 3 minutes past. What do I do to talk for 2 minutes? Yeah, I am not coughing so much today, Jan. I'm getting there. I'm setting myself tasks every day to get myself motivated, to get my strength back up, as I still get bouts of extreme tiredness at times. But I've rested up this afternoon, ready for tonight, and I've been looking forward to this. After last night, it gave me some normality, so to speak. I've been watching the Joe Biden inauguration today. Yeah, so that was interesting. You think we've got it bad here, but oh Christ, over in America, I really do feel for them. I've got a lot of American friends, and yeah, they've had it bad the last 4 years. So, you know, but hey, that's politics. No, Jan, I've still not got my taste or smell back. But on the upside, my taste is coming back a little. I can taste mustard, vinegar, and Daddy's brown sauce. But I still can't taste my coffee yet. So, you know, and you know how I love my coffee. So as soon as I can taste my coffee, I'll be a well happy bunny, I can tell you. Right, it's 5 past, so I think we'll crack on and get started with this. So you've all got your kit. If you haven't, doesn't matter, you can buy your kit from Di over at Tando Creative, and as I say, the live will be available in the group at a later date, and you can do it at a later date, but for those that are following along, I'll take it a bit slowly because it's more of a workshop type of thing rather than a quick tag like I did last night. Hi Denise, are you alright, my lovely? So yeah, so if I go too fast for you, just shout out. I will be keeping an eye on the comments. As I say, this is more like a mini workshop as opposed to a quick demo as we do with the tags. So the first thing you're going to do is we'll unpack your kit, and in your little kit you should have your little board of elements and your house. We can pop the elements to the side for a minute. We're not going to be using them. We're going to be concentrate on reconstructing the house. So we'll move those to one side. Your house, all we're going to do is we're just going to pop it out the grey board, which is quite easy. Just pop the pieces out. Don't throw this away. I always save all these pieces of grey board because I can cut them up into little bits, and I use them for mounting, to raise things up on tags, on other projects. So these pieces come in handy. I snip bits out as I need it. So yeah, and we'll be using a bit of this for offcuts to raise our holly and our little frame with the snowflakes on. So yeah, so keep a hold of these, don't throw them away. Comes in extremely useful, as I say, for using as your little offcuts for mounting onto your tags and your projects. So we'll pop that to one side for now. Yes, Jan, they do pop out like a dream, you know, no problems at all. So how I like to construct this house is you'll have your back and your front, your two little roof pieces, your two sides and your base. And what I tend to do is I just slot them in just to make sure that I've got the pieces the right way round, that they all slot in nicely, so I know I've got them the right way. Yeah, that's all good. So what I do is I keep my base down and then I'll just glue all these in all the way round, and then we'll pop the top on. So I'll start with the side, get some good PVA glue and pop it along the edges and along this edge here and here and here, and then we'll just hold it for a second just for it to grab, which it grabs quite quick, and then I'll go to the bottom and we'll just work our way round. These little houses are fab. I absolutely love these. There's so many possibilities for decorating these little houses. Yeah, 3D houses are fab, Denise. And then I like to turn it round, so I always like to work in front of me as opposed to near me. That's just me. And they're quite easy to go together. They don't take long at all. And building it this way, it's easier to get your top on, where some people will glue everything to the base, and I find that too fiddly. I like to keep things flat. I like to make things as easy for myself as I possibly can. Just double check that they fit. Make sure I've got the right sides. So we'll pop these in now, little roof bits. Yes, Jan, Tando stuff does go together so easily. That's down to Di. She's a fabulous designer. I have had the pleasure of going over to Dyes and staying there on a few occasions, and I've watched the master at work. I can tell you, you sit there, you talk to her, and you say, oh, I wonder if you can do this, you know, and give her an idea, and wham bam thank you ma'am, within 20 minutes she's done it, and you just think, whoa, you know what I mean? But yeah, she's an awesome lady, and I thank God the day that I met her. She's a fantastic friend, fantastic person to design for. Yeah, and her products are just amazing. So we've got our base done now, and now we can pop the top on. So we just glue round all the top, all these edges, these divots as I call them. And then on here I just go into the indents on the top so that it all slots nicely together. Okay. And then we can just gently pop it on the top. Give it a little push, and you'll hear it click into place. Wipe off your excess glue, and there you have it. One little house constructed. That was quite easy, wasn't it? Job's a good one. Are you all with me so far? Have we constructed your house? Give me a shout out and let me know that you're all good before I move on to the next step. Okay, Chris, I'll give you a minute or two just to finish constructing before we move on. Give everybody a chance to catch up. So how many of you are playing along? And how many of you are just watching to play along later? Ah, Karen, yeah. Made yours earlier. There's nothing wrong with that. Foresight, forethinking, which is good. House done, right? Are you all happy for me to move on to the next step? Just to make sure it was dry. They dry pretty quick actually. I don't tend to really wait for mine to dry. I glue them and then paint them. Okay, there's quite a few of you watching at the minute and you're going to play catch up, but that's absolutely fine. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't rushing anybody, just the ones that are following along. So your next step, you're going to base coat your house with your relic chalky paint, which is what I'm using from Deco Art, or you could use any grey paint, any grey chalk paint, any grey acrylic paint. It doesn't matter as long as it's a grey, not a light grey, a mid grey, I would say. It's not a dark grey, it's a mid grey. Yeah, Jan, it's great that you have lifetime access, isn't it? You can go back and do it again, you know what I mean? You can make one and then think to yourself, oh, you know, I made this so and so, you know, 12 months ago, I think I'll make another one, and you can jump back in and watch the replay again, which is great. So yeah, so pop a bit of the chalk paint onto your mat, and all we're going to do is we're just going to completely coat the house with a coat of chalky finish grey, front and back, top and bottom, and all four sides. Nothing difficult about that. Yes, you can try it with different colours. There's nothing in the rules to say that you've got to use exactly the same colours as me. You go where your heart takes you on it. It's your project. I chose the greys and the speckled egg because it reminded me of a wintry day with the greys and the blues. It just reminded me of winter. That's that. Give it a quick dry with a heat tool. Chalk paint dries pretty quick anyway. Yeah, the grey's really nice, Soraya. And if you're finding it's too dark for you, you could always mix it in with a bit of white just to lighten it up a bit. But it's not a bad colour. I use this relic a lot. Brush in water, have a bit of a clean up. Get rid of that. So for now you can just pop your house to one side. Because we're going to be working on the watercolour cardstock to obviously decorate it. So we'll pop that out of the way for a minute. I did ask in your list to have a piece of watercolour cardstock. It can be any watercolour cardstock, or it can be any cardstock really. It doesn't really have to be watercolour, but obviously because I'm going to be spraying it with water, the cardstock is made to take plenty of water. So I've got an A4 sheet here. I don't need that size. I'm just going to cut it in half. Just be working on half of it. Roughly half of it. As long as it, your house, you get your template from it, that's fine. I'm only decorating one side, but if you want to decorate both sides, then that's absolutely fine too. So are you all good? Have you all painted your houses and dried them? Ready to move on to the next step? Are we all good, folks? You ready to move on? Okay, Sandra, you ready? Everybody else ready? Okay. So with your piece of watercolour cardstock, you're just going to give it a spritz of water just to wet the surface. And then we'll spritz it with speckled egg and pumice stone distress inks. Hi Lynn. So we're just going to spritz over, alternating the colours. Just to cover your cardstock. Let the colours move around and blend. Spritz a bit more water. Just move it around a bit. And then give it a dry with your heat tool. Your card will bend up, but it will flatten out as it dries. do for me. Give it a little bend. Have a bit of a clean up. Okay. Are we all good, folks? Have we got our watercolour card spritz and sprayed with your inks? Are we all there? Are we all ready to move on to the next step? We all good? All done? Thanks, Sandra. We'll just pop your watercolour card to the side. We'll be bringing it back in a minute. I asked you to provide a stencil. I'm using this one from Tim Holtz. It's a Christmassy text one. You can use any stencil you like. Don't worry, Linda, you can always go back. The live will be available after it's finished, so don't worry too much, my lovely. So you've got your whatever stencil you're using, flip it over to the other side, to the reverse, and we're going to really douse it in water, and I mean a lot of water. Okay, just wipe the excess off your mat. Bring your cardstock back in, flip your stencil over, pop it onto your cardstock, grab a piece of paper towel and press. Just hold it there. It'll absorb all the excess water, and with it being a distress ink spray that you've used, that's going to react underneath to the water, and when you lift up you will have the impression of your stencil. Okay, so you can dry that. Yes, Lynn, it is a lovely effect. It's not new. It's quite an old technique, but it's nice to revisit these old techniques sometimes, and you know, and it just gives that subtle interest in the background. And you can use this with any of your stencils on distress ink. As I say, it's because they're water reactive. I suppose you could use it on watercolours as well. because they're water reactive. You could use it on water-based inks, do the same thing. Yeah, just try it out, play. I'm not going to do down this side. If you were doing a whole sheet, then you'd repeat the process and just go over and move your stencil around. But that will fit our house perfectly for what we want. So that's ideal. So your next step is to grab a pencil, decide on what part of the cardstock you want your house, the decoration for your house, and we'll just pop that down. Anywhere you like, draw around your house, use your house as your template. And there we go. And then we can just cut this out. Yeah, it's nice to have any type of script stencils, Lynn. It just looks really nice on backgrounds. You know, it's just something different to get some text faded into the ink. You know, I quite like it. It looks nice with Baroque stencils as well, and swirl stencils. So now we've done that, we're going to glue this to your house base. So we'll get the glue out again. Squirt a dollop on there. Are we all good? Have we all stenciled and cut our cardstock out? All good, thanks Sandra. Just let me know if I'm going too fast for you. I try to be as slow as I can for people who are playing along. So what I like to do is I like to glue the front of the house as well as the back of the watercolour cardstock, so it gives it some wiggle room. You can move it about because it's got a slick surface, whereas if you just glue the back of your cardstock and pop it onto your substrate, it tends to grab and you can't move it around as much. So don't be frugal with your glue. Give it a good coat. this on. And as I say, you can wiggle it, get it into position, and that's because you've got glue on the cardstock as well. As on your substrate. Give it a good rub with a paper towel just to make sure that it's secure. Pop my brush in some water. This up. That's okay, Chris. Just give me a shout out, Chris, when you've caught up. And so there you've got your front of your house complete. You can repeat the process and do it on the back if you so wish, but I didn't need to, didn't feel I needed to, but that's optional for you guys. How you doing, Chris? Are we all good? Everybody caught up? The next step is some inking with your text stamp of your choice, and just to go around the edges, just to blend in the edges. Oh, Chris, how far behind are you, my lovely? I can slow down a bit more, sweetheart. Where are you up to, Chris? Do you want me to wait for you to catch up, Chris, or do you want me to carry on, lovely? I'm happy to go with the flow. Just carry on. All right then, my sweetheart. Anybody else behind? Do you want me to hang on, or do you want me to carry on? Everybody else caught up? So I asked you to have a grey ink pad. It could either be archival ink, watering can, or hickory smoke. So I'm just using the hickory smoke. I've got a set of minis. I quite like these. I want to get some more. I'll have to see if Di's still got some. I've got a tin to put them in as well. I'd like some more colours. I'll have to check out the shop, see what she's got in stock. So yeah, I asked you to provide a text stamp of your choice. I'm using these ones by Tim Holtz, the Distressed Faded Type. I use them quite a lot. So yeah, but any stamp of your choice will do. So grab a text stamp, and all we're going to do is just ink up in some strategic places on your house. So I did, and coming off the edge as well. I did the bottom. We just want to hint of this. And I did round about there. And I did the top. Like that. So once you pop those on, we're just going to ink around the edge, just to blend it all in. And I just make it a bit darker on the corners, just to give it some depth. And that is the base of your house completed and inked. Ah, glad you like it, Jan. Yeah, it's looking okay, isn't it? It's amazing what you can transform a plain piece of grey board into with just quite a limited supplies. Okay, so we can pop this to one side for now, and we'll move on to your little elements card. We'll pop all these out. Oh, hi Lynn. You're watching whilst doing dinner. With these delicate elements, patience. Just take your time. There's no rush in popping them out. There we go. Just pop out any excess bits. That's it. Pop your middle out of your frame and the little side bits. Okay. A little bit there. Yeah, Jan has done a super video Di about popping them out. I never really have any problems. It's like anything, it's just patience. That's all it is, just patience. So what we're going to work on first is your letters. Pop the holly to one side and the large snowflake. We're going to work on the frame and the letters. And we're going to give those a coat of silver paint. Are we all good? Have we all popped our elements out? And ready to move on to the next step? Are we all good? All good, Sandra. Great. So for your frame and your letters and your smaller of your two snowflakes, we're just going to give these a coat of silver paint. I'm using the Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylics, but it can be any silver paint that you have in your stash. And I don't pre-gesso these pieces. The metallic paint just glides over them with one coat, which is great. Okay. Give them a quick blast with a heat tool. And then once we've dried those, we're just going to give them a coat of your Deco Art Media Antiquing Cream in black. Okay. So are we all good? Can we move on to the antiquing cream step? Oh, thanks for popping in, Lynn. You go and get your dinner. And love and hugs to you too, sweetheart. So if we're all ready to move on to the next step, we're just going to add some black antiquing cream. Everything seems all right my end, Lynn. I've not frozen, I'm watching it as I'm going, so everything's still all right my end. just give all your pieces, your silver pieces, a coat of the black antiquing cream. Hi Ingrid, are you alright my lovely? Hi Lynn. So once you've gave all your pieces, your silver pieces, a coat of the antiquing cream, just give them a quick blast with the heat tool. Which doesn't take long. Yes, Ingrid, I predominantly use deco art paint because I'm a deco art helping artist, and I've used deco art for years. So yeah, I do use all deco art paint, but you don't have to use what I use. It's just what I prefer. You can use whatever paint you have in your stash, in you know what the colours that I choose. Right, so we're going to wipe this antiquing cream back. So get a baby wipe. You don't want it wet, so I tend to pop mine in a paper towel and give it a real good squeeze to get some of the excess wetness out. And then we're just going to wipe back these pieces, and you can take off as much or as little as you want. Basically we're looking for an aged, tarnished metal effect, so it looks like silver that's not been polished in years. Which I can remember when I was a kid. My mum used to have a lot of silver ornaments and copper ornaments, and we used to have to sit there on a Sunday evening after we'd had our bath and our tea, and then out would come the tin of Duraglit. And then all us kids would have to sit there polishing all our ornaments. Yes, you can use just a damp towel rather than a baby wipe, Kim, or even a damp piece of kitchen roll. You know, so as long as it's damp as opposed to not wet, because if it's really wet you're just going to take off all the antiquing cream all at once. And if you find that you've removed too much of the antiquing cream, you can always go back and add some more and start again, which is the beauty of it. You know, antiquing cream, that can be like that for 6 months, and then I can wipe it back and start again. It never cures. So that's your silver little elements completed. So we're coming just past the hour mark, and we've not got that much left to do. So we'll bring in your next snowflake and your holly piece. So have we all completed our antiquing on the silver elements? Are we all good to move on to the next step? Yeah, okay, Karen. Are you okay, Sandra? Yeah, good to go. Lovely. Right, so for this snowflake and your holly piece, I just want you to give it a coat of either white chalk paint, white gesso, white acrylic paint, whatever you got in your stash. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just to get a coat on it is once we've got the coat of paint on it and we've given it a dry, we'll spritz it with the speckled egg distress spray stain to tone in with the house base. That a quick blast with a heat tool to dry it off. Okay, Margaret. Enjoy your tea. So once you've base coated in your white on the holly and the snowflake, I just want you to spritz them with the speckled egg spray stain. Give them a dry. And then give them another spritz. And dry again. Thank you, Ingrid. I'm glad you're liking it. Have a bit of a clean up. Are we all good? Are you good, Karen? Are you good, Sandra? All done? Good, Sandra. How are you, Karen? Are you all good? All good, right. So I asked you in your kit list to provide a quickie glue pen, and the reason why I asked you to use for the pen as opposed to just glue is all these little veins on the holly leaves. We're going to go down with the glue pen and then we're going to glitter. Yeah, I know, glitter. I don't normally do glitter, but it is for Christmas. So I do 2 at a time. And then I sprinkle some glitter. And I have one of these things, these glitter dusters. I find them invaluable with just some glitter in, or you can sprinkle it into a glitter tray. But I like these. Pump it and it's out. And then I can tap off. And job's a good one. As I say, we just want a hint of the glitter, and it's just down these veins that are in the holly leaves. And we'll do the little berries as well. that is that. So that's all your elements decorated, and now we can start to put them on the house. Are we all good? Are we all glittered? All good, Sandra? Right, so what I did is with the holly, I want to position that sort of at an angle, and it's a curved shape, so it's just natural. But what I did is, like I said at the beginning, don't throw your sheet away. This, what you popped your houses out of, I cut a piece off because I want to use it behind the holly leaves in a couple of places. So this big fat one here, this one here, and the bottom one. So we're just going to snip three little bits of grey board. They don't have to be big, just small pieces. It's just to give it a little bit of depth and dimension, just to raise it up off the house a little bit. So we've got our three little pieces. And we can glue those to the back of the holly leaf. One. There's two. There's three. And then we can pop that on our house. And just by having it in them three strategic places, it just raises it up. Okay. Then we'll position our letters. Just position them at the bottom where you want them. Pop that one there. Pop them on at jaunty angles. And then we'll take your frame and we'll just layer the snowflakes up. We'll offset them like that. At this point you can add a brad in the centre if you want to. It's entirely optional, but I'm leaving as it is. So I'll glue this one to the larger one. I only have to glue the centre piece. And as I say, offset it. And then we'll glue this to the frame. You can pop brads in here too if you want to. That's optional. I think actually I might. See what I've got. I've got two. So I'll pop the brads in first. One there. One there. And then we'll glue the snowflake on top. Like so. And then with another little off-cut piece of grey board, obviously because we're sticking that there and we want it underneath, so we'll pop a little piece down the edge of your frame like that. And then we'll pop a little bit of glue on that holly leaf there, because that's where the opposite end of the frame is going to sit. And we'll just lay that down like so. Okay. And that, folks, is your Christmas house. And like I said on the original, I did say at the beginning, I used this 3D Impresslitz embossing and cutting die. You can use that to pop underneath and pop there and pop at the sides, or you can use a star, a poinsettia stamp. As I say, this is optional. I didn't want to say to you guys, oh, you need this, because then obviously I didn't want you to go out and buy this. But as I say, the house still looks effective with or without it. It was just an optional extra if you wanted to pop that in. And there's always alternatives as well. You can put paper stars in. You could, as I say, you can do stamped images, and if you want to pop anything behind. If you don't, you can leave it as is, or you could always pop some more little snowflakes behind, some paper cut snowflakes if you want to. You know, the choice is yours. It's your house. You know, you decorate it as you wish. Yeah, and as I say, like. What elements that you pop behind, if it's stars or more little snowflakes, tie them in with the colours that you've got, so you can either antique them with the silver and the antiquing cream, or you can do them with the speckled egg. It, you know, distress stain, you know, spray them and die cut them, and you know, the choice is yours. Keep it to the same colour theme and you can't go wrong. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that it was what you were expecting. There's lots more coming up with these little houses. Yeah, and my cough is almost non-existent, Jan. Yeah, but my throat is really dry, so I'm ready for a drink. You're welcome, Ingrid, and thank you, Sarah. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and look forward to the next time. So the next thing up in the Tando Creative Zone is on Tuesday with our 12 tags, 12 ways. So that's not long to wait, and yeah, we've got that going every week until the next house, which is, when's the next house, Di? I forgot to look at the date for that, but yeah, it's on the Tando zone for the next house, for the 12 houses. Oh, thank you, Jan. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to get myself a cup of coffee, even though I can't taste it, but hey ho. And any questions, anything that you're not sure of, just give us a shout out in the zone, and there's always one of us around to answer. But yeah, looking forward to seeing your makes, and yeah, do post them up. I'd love to see them. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, so I'll sign off for now and go and get a drink, and I shall see you all soon. Good night.